Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for, this is your February bonus reading. We are going to jump right in here. You have the heart and also the lily here. I'm using the Gilded Lenormand again in this set of readings. This could represent love, for sure. It could represent like a love offer, and Venus is in your sign, so it makes perfect sense that there could be love coming in for you. And again, if you don't want love, it could just be something that is connected to your values or your heart, or something like that. So again, it doesn't have to necessarily represent a person if you don't want that. But like I said, regardless, it is a good time for love for Pisces. Because of Venus in your sign. And like I said, it's also just a great time to create more value in your life. For most of you, that is going to be in your first house. Now, it depends, because not every sun in Pisces is a first house Pisces. So you're going to have to look at your chart and, look at where your sun is and where Venus is. They should be both in Pisces if you're watching this reading. And then you're going to have to look at what that house means. And again, the word values is definitely just looking around at everything that's going on in this reading. The word value is definitely popping into my head. So I would be focusing on your values or the things that you value. You have the Eight of Pentacles, and Eight of Pentacles, this is how you're entering into the reading since we're doing a Celtic cross. And the Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. And, he is working on one thing. He is mastering his craft, and he is almost done. So a lot of you, I feel, are working a lot on your value and the things that you value. And I would just, I really have nothing to add, because I feel like it's just saying, keep doing what you're doing. Your crossing energy, which can represent, the crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. And you have the Page of Wands. I do feel that being more adventurous would be a very good idea for you, Pisces, like being willing to experiment more, try things that you've never tried before in work and business and career and whatever it is that you're working on. I feel all of that would be a really good idea. With the Page of Wands, it's like, it's not, I'm not taking this Page of Wands as a bad thing. I just feel it's encouraging you to be a little bit more adventurous and, take bigger risks in work and career and, pretty much everything that you're working towards. In the area of your thoughts or what's on your mind, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Again, I think this is very simple. When your values change, which, again, you have Venus going into your sign. So Venus, I think people think of love, beauty, the nicer things in life sometimes. But, the other thing I would say is that it also has to do with our values or the things that we do value. And that's really what I would be looking at with the Seven of Pentacles. Like certain things, Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at all the work that he has done so far, and some of the work is worth it, some of the work isn't worth it, and he's just trying to figure out like what's worth it and what's not worth it, and that's pretty much it. So I think a lot of you could be looking at things that you value or trying to decide whether or not you want to continue doing the things that you're working on, or if you want to change direction with the Seven of Pentacles. And again, that makes sense. Even in the area of your foundation, you have the Death card. The Death card would be a change. So, having it as a in the foundational position or in the foundation position in your reading would say that you're just going through some sort of change, or you are looking to make a change. And again, that kind of makes sense to me, that you would be changing things, like especially surrounding your values. I also feel things are becoming more clear. I always say that we have the two pillars from the moon right here, and the sun is coming up between those two pillars. So you could be getting clarity on kind of like what you value at this time in life. And we're talking about all areas of life. And again, getting clear on this would be a very good idea. So, I definitely like to see that. In your past position, you have this fiery beginnings. It says you're on the brink of a real breakthrough. Follow your heart and live your passions. Yes, even though this is coming up in the past position represents the energy you are moving past. This could say that you're, even though it's coming up in the past, that you're about to have a breakthrough, basically. You have this family and heritage card. It says it's time to get back in touch with your loved ones you have been away from. Venus and Pisces, for sure. So, you have the Nine of Cups in the past. I'm not saying that you've been lazy or anything like that, Pisces, but I do feel sometimes with the Nine of Cups that we are kind of resting on our laurels and we're holding back a little bit. There's like an alternative meaning to the Nine of Cups, which is that he is like a barkeep and he is choosing like who or what to give these cups to. And those cups could just represent his energy that he's been saving, or, time, effort, attention, pretty much anything. And I kind of feel like this is what you're leaving behind. Like maybe you have been in a period where you've been gathering your energy or trying to recharge your batteries, and now you're kind of getting into a time where you are ready to give. I think Pisces, of course, are givers, so it's not really like, I don't really feel like this is saying like, oh, you have to give. But I feel like it's saying maybe you've taken a pause and you've decided who you really want to give to and who you don't want to give to. And I feel like you're making better choices moving forward as far as your energy is concerned, and like who gets what, right? So very simple. Next, in the area of the very near future, you have the Imagine card and the Flexible card. The Flexible card, I feel, is tied to that Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, he is adventurous, but, he is kind of flexible in how he accomplishes something. The Imagine card is about imagining a dream, imagining something that you want to manifest. It's kind of hard to see on the Imagine card, but that girl there, she's pulling the moon down to earth. Now, you have the Moon card showing up in a couple positions here. In the moon, I also feel sometimes can represent bringing a dream down to earth. Now, usually there is like confusion or a lack of clarity surrounding that, and we'll definitely talk about that. But you have the Seven of Wands also in the area of the very near future. And the Seven of Wands represents conviction, like knowing that you know that something is going to be successful. We have to develop that level of belief in something with the Seven of Wands. It's kind of like we have to prove to ourselves that something is actually going to work. And the Seven of Wands is having that level of commitment. And so that's really what I feel here. I'm not like getting anything about boundaries. Of course, I think boundaries is always having boundaries in life is always a good idea, but I don't feel that's what this is talking about. I feel like this is talking about your commitment to the dream or to something that you are imagining creating in your life. And so I would just have that commitment. Next, in your outcome row, you have this Desire and Attraction card. Of course, you have this Freedom and Action card, which is great. This card, the Freedom and Action card, this horse card, it always reminds me of the Chariot for whatever reason. And you have the Chariot coming up in the area of your next few months, so which is very good. But there definitely, of course, there could be a person coming in for you if you want love. Honestly, I think having Venus and the North Node in your sign, and also the Sun will be in your sign in the month of February. That could be a time of a lot of attention. Like people could really be coming out of the woodwork. So, you might have to really pay attention to the people that are approaching you. And again, there could be more interest than ever from people. And, in those cases, I would definitely put up boundaries with the Seven of Wands. You have the Chariot in the area of the next few months. The Chariot, of course, is victories or a win. So there could be big wins coming in for you, Pisces, especially if you've been putting in the work. I also feel like, especially if you've been feeling held back, like if you've been doing the work, but just you haven't been receiving or getting the results that you've been hoping for, I do feel like there are better results coming in for you. It also wouldn't surprise me if there was a big change coming in for you starting now in February. I think that, of course, again, North Node in your sign is going to be a big change for you. It takes a long time. The North Node will be in Pisces for 18 months. Then it's going to be in all the other signs for 18 months before it comes back to Pisces, which will be long into the future. So, again, this doesn't happen. Having the North Node in your sign doesn't happen too often, and I feel like you have a great opportunity here to stand out. The Chariot is really about setting yourself apart and standing out. He is leaving the city behind him and he's doing that because everything is the same inside that city, and he's hoping to be unique, or he's hoping to, maybe create his own city that he can be the leader of. So I feel a lot of you are really have this opportunity not only to stand out, but to, kind of like stake your claim on an idea or a business, or it could be anything. It could be any aspect of your life, but I would definitely take advantage of that. You have the moon coming up in the area of your closest relationships. I do feel that relationships have been very confusing for Pisces for a long time. I feel the trick one of the tricks for Pisces, I should say, is to make sure that you're not getting your value from relationships, right? I know that sounds obvious, but, I feel as long as you are getting your own value from yourself and you're not using relationships to say that you are valuable, I think that's like part of the trick here with the Moon card. I also feel like how you enter into relationships is going to be very important. And we're talking about all relationships, not just love. This lobster is coming out on this land. And so the lobster is wearing its emotional armor. And the lobster on the Moon card says we have to be vulnerable, right? We have to release our emotional armor so that we can progress. And so I feel this is saying, it's kind of like saying that you need to enter into connections as you are and your own special self, right? And you need to make sure that you're not like putting up any fronts or anything like that. And as long as you do that, then you'll probably find something really good. I do feel that you are kind of like dreaming of connections. I also get something here, the dog and the wolf or the dog and coyote, whichever you prefer, these two right here, they kind of represent balancing out your wild side and also your domestic side. And so one of those two things might be a little bit out of balance here. And it's definitely something that you should think about, like balancing both sides of yourself out, if that makes sense. It's also weird because it's popping into my head. Like, I feel that some of you could be attracting a person who is a little bit more like reserved, or I don't know. I just get this feeling of you attracting someone who you think is a little bit too much of like a goody two-shoes, type of deal. Like maybe they're not naughty enough for you, Pisces, or something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it if that's you. If you attract a person where you're like, this person is, a little bit too much like a little, schoolboy, right? Little bit too nervous around me or something like that. I don't know. Something weird is popping into my head here. So I don't know. Take it how it resonates. Next, in the area of your future feelings, I feel like you're feeling like a boss here, Pisces. It's like you're in your energy, you're in your element, showing up as the High Priestess, which is your card. So is the Moon. And the High Priestess can represent, of course, being very intuitive, trusting your intuition. I feel like digging into mystery would be a good idea. We are literally in a time where we should be looking into mysteries. Like we should be looking below the surface. We should be, really kind of exploring new ideas and new directions and pretty much everything. And, I think as long as you're embracing that energy, that you'll have a really great time. Your outcome, of course, is the Ace of Cups, so definitely could be a love offer if you want love. I feel this could be a very peaceful connection as well, which is great. The Ace of Cups is also about flow. And a lot of people in the month of February, like starting at the end of January, going into these February readings, a lot of people have been getting these cards that would really represent like making your life easier on yourself. That does not mean that life is going to be easy, but what it does mean is that if you can do something to make something hard easier, then I would do it, plain and simple, right? It's like in life, we will always have to do things that we don't want to do. And I think what makes the difference is taking those things that we don't want to do and making them easier on ourselves. However we can do that, whether it's like a mindset change or, if we can, I don't know, there's a million things we can do. Find better ways of doing things, all that stuff will put us in the flow and will make things easier. So that's what I would be doing there. With the Eight of Pentacles and the Page of Wands, you have the Three of Wands. It really is time to go for it, Pisces. Three of Wands is one of my cards that says, what are you waiting for? He is looking at these boats that are on the ocean here, and he could easily get on those boats and go on an adventure. So I feel it would be an amazing time for you to like go on adventures or, explore new ideas or, do new things. And that's what I would be focusing on with the Three of Wands type energy is like new directions, new ideas, and also anything you've been thinking about doing for a long period of time. I would be also thinking like about getting started, right, on those dreams. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Chariot. This kind of gives me second chance vibes because the Seven of Pentacles says you've been working on something for a long time, or maybe you've tried something before, and then we go down to the Chariot again. So, again, a lot of you could be thinking about taking action on something that you've already done or something that you've thought about doing in the past. So, yeah, I don't know, kind of interesting. Like, I wouldn't normally consider those to be second chance cards, right? Like, Judgment or Six of Cups or something like that. But it's almost like with the Seven of Pentacles here, I feel like you have it's the Seven of Pentacles. Let me spit this out if I can just stop stumbling over my own words here, Pisces. Seven of Pentacles is a card of deep analysis. He's really looking at the work that he's done. And so maybe you are revisiting an old idea and you're examining the things that you didn't do or the things maybe you missed out on. And I kind of feel like you are finding other ways to take control of those situations. With the Death card, you have the Strength card. Again, North Node in your sign, it is time to put your strength on display. Again, I've been saying since 2016, I believe, that people are really going to be leaning on Pisces in the future. Now, that does not mean that you should be a Pisces emotional sponge for everyone. What it means is that you need to become a living example for everyone on Earth. And I've been saying this since 2016. So again, the big difference is in the past, Pisces is used to sucking up everybody's emotions and problems and challenges, and you've been putting those things on your shoulders. Now, what it is it's time to live your best life, because when you do that, you show other people how they can overcome challenges, problems, difficulties, issues, and you don't have to change a million people's lives. You just have to, just one person's life is enough. So I feel it's time for you to put your strength on display by doing things that are, that are hard, accomplishing a dream, overcoming some sort of personal challenge. Anything like that is really going to be good. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Four of Wands. Four Wands can represent marriage here, but the Four of Wands is commitment, and we have two cards that are really screaming commitment to me, Four of Wands and the Seven of Wands. So, and you also have this card here that said that there's like some sort of breakthrough coming in for you, and so I feel the breakthrough is you committing to changing your life or to moving in new directions is basically what that's saying. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is this or that thinking. She is trying to protect her heart because she thinks that things can only go this way or that way. And so in love, for example, the Two of Swords says, well, actually, there's another way. There's this island behind her here, and that island represents a third place solution or a different way of doing things. And so I feel you need to open up to the possibility. It's like you don't have to, I think this is more about opening up to the possibility. I'm just going to stick with that because, when we open up to those possibilities, things become immediately possible. And that's what I would be working on with the Two of Swords, is kind of like opening up to possibilities. With the Chariot, you have the Seven of Cups. I think, there have been helicopters flying over my house for days now. I have no freaking clue what's going on, but it's driving me crazy. So sorry if you can hear the very loud helicopter that's, probably looking for me, right? But you have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is your dreams. He is dreaming of all these things that are in these cups. I always say with the Seven of Cups, the trick is that we have to pick one cup and make it happen. And I think that would be a good exercise for you, especially with that Seven of Wands. Commit to one part of your dream or one thing you want to manifest and see it through to the end. The Chariot is about, says that where there's a will, there's a way, but the Chariot is about crossing the finish line. We have to pick something and see it through to the end. The Moon, same thing. With the Moon card, the Moon is part of the Fool's journey. He has to get to these mountains. These two pillars here represent distractions for the Fool. They basically say that the Fool is very close to getting to these mountains, accomplishing his goal. But sometimes when we work towards something, we pick something else to do and we stop doing what we were doing and we don't see something through to the end. So again, it's very important with the Moon, the Chariot, the Seven of Cups, that if you're picking goals, that you're finishing them. With the Moon, you have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, something is dying here. I feel like this is good. It's like, yes, I feel old parts of yourself are going away, things that no longer serve you. I think that you are looking at relationships in a completely different light as well, in a good way. The Ten of Swords would also be a blessing in disguise. So some of you could be seeing how, past connections that didn't work for you, how those things were blessings. I also feel strength here. Again, we have strength and we have this. And so outside of love, I'm not talking about just love here. This part of the reading represents all relationships that you belong to. And I feel a lot of you are really kind of believing in your own strength, which is, you need to be the leader. With the with the High Priestess, you have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to weaknesses. I think I said this in your last reading. There are probably going to be a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't do something. There are probably going to be a bunch of words in your head that say, I'm not good enough, I don't have time, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I feel part of the trick to this reading here, based off all the cards we have, is to really if there's just one good reason why you should go through with something like a goal, wish, dream, something you're trying to accomplish, then I feel like that's enough. I feel like that this reading is saying then do it, because you will be successful. Again, Five of Pentacles has a very easy solution, which is do not call attention to your weaknesses. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Five of Cups. So again, if you do want love, I feel definitely needs to be healed, like all the past hurts. I also feel, I can't remember exactly what I said earlier, but again, if your happiness has to come from another person, or if you're looking for relationships to provide something for you, I feel like that's where the hurts are going to come from. And again, not a criticism, right? You have the Strength card. The Strength card says you have to get to the place where you support yourself and fulfill yourself. And when you get to that place, then you'll be able to heal past this and attract love into your life. Five of Cups also says, be grateful for what you have and turn around, because, there could be a big opportunity coming in for you. He has those two cups behind him, and he also has the bridge and the bridge and the castle when he turns around. So you have this Woman card. It says dealings or relationships with a woman. You have this Tent. It says temporary situations, or temporary situation. Some of you, I do feel, could be dealing with temporary things, and they're just temporary. You have this Torch. It says spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Even though we see a lot of love here, I do feel this reading, especially with that Strength card and the Chariot, I look at those two cards as very similar. Chariot is a card of hard control. The Strength card is a card of soft control. It's more passive. The Chariot, he's taking control. With the Strength card, she is doing things passively to change her inner voice, and that's why she is strong. So I feel that there is a lot of spiritual development, enlightenment, and understanding going on for yourself. You have this May card and this Camel card. It says persevere and you will overcome. May is honestly probably the month that you're going to notice a significant energetic change, Pisces, because again, we basically have Mars retrograde until February 23rd. We're in the shadow until April 30th, the last day of April, and then, when we enter into May, things can improve. That does not mean things will not improve between now and then, but, again, I think the real improvements come in May. You have this Rainbow card. It says most difficult part of a situation is over. There you go. Big improvements coming. You have the Sunrise card. It says new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. We have that breakthrough, a real breakthrough coming in. It says here, let me start over. It says you're on the brink of a real breakthrough. Follow your heart and live your passion. Yes, there's definitely like a new idea that's going to lead to a real breakthrough. But this looks really good, Pisces. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.